So welcome to Kenmogi's Street Brain Radio. I haven't been recording for quite a while. At one period, I did a series of recordings, and probably I got tired of it. But now it's in the middle of summer, and I feel the autumn probably approaching quite soon. So that has led to some changes in my unconscious neural circuits, and I felt, hey, maybe I would like to do one of these things again. So here I am, and I'd like to talk about artificial general intelligence and private language. So I think, from the theory of intelligence point of view, it is only natural that we should strive to make artificial general intelligence, or AGI, or even artificial superintelligence, ASI. Because let's face it, intelligence is in its essence general. I mean, there's no genuine intelligence that would be only fine-tuned to a specific task like calculation or spatial information processing or even natural language processing. People have been arguing whether natural language processing would equal general intelligence. Juries are still out, and I have no definite opinion. But it's an interesting idea, interesting point of debate, the relationship between natural language processing and general intelligence. But from biological point of view, of course, intelligence needs to be general. Otherwise, biological systems wouldn't survive. If you look at how the species are surviving and procreating in the natural environment. By the way, I am in a busy area of metropolitan Tokyo. Today I'm gonna do 2 concerts. I'm not playing the instruments, but I'm going to do the MC for the classical concert, and it's for family, especially for kids. And the idea is that it's summer vacation time here in Tokyo. It will be great to have an opportunity where we share the joys of music with friends. どうもこんにちは。びっくりした。広島行ってます。あ、そうなの？頑張って。じゃあまたお疲れです。お疲れです。I just bumped into my acquaintance, and this is really funny. I couldn't tell him that I was in the middle of a recording. So anyway, that was a funny accent. So you could catch me speak my native tongue, Japanese. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do. So the crash concert, MC. So I'm walking along a busy Tokyo street, and so as I said, it's the name of the game for biological systems to adapt to ever-changing situations, and that's where probably consciousness plays a great part. I'm interested in this concept of conscious supremacy in analogy to quantum supremacy. From computational point of view, from computability arguments, of course, everything would be computable within a certain degree of accuracy, and that should be sufficient. But in order to adapt to biologically relevant situations that biological systems encounter in the history of their lives, we do need consciousness, and so that's how we evolve to have consciousness. So I think there's a genuine link between artificial general intelligence and consciousness, but that is another issue. So intelligence in the sense is general, needs to be general, especially when it's put in a biological context. If you put it in an artificial context, maybe it makes sense to build artificial intelligence entirely devoted to a board game like chess or Go or shogi, or to the solution of protein folding. But these would be only tools. They cannot be, let out in the wild and expected to survive on their own. That's not possible. So intelligence needs to be artificial general. So there's this sense of necessity to consider artificial general intelligence. So when that happens, if you have artificial general intelligence, then it is quite possible that it will be based on some language system. Right now we are building natural language processing systems, the so-called large language models, but these would be human languages, right? But if you train a system to be artificial general intelligence, then it is entirely possible that it would develop some artificial language system, which humans cannot understand. It's like encountering an entire new civilization, the logic of which we don't understand. And of course, in the history of humanity, it has happened repeatedly. For example, the Aztec civilization was quite difficult to decipher, if at all. The same can be said about the ancient Egyptian culture. So, we know instances where we encounter a civilization based on unknown language systems. And, that might happen with artificial intelligence systems too. They might develop entirely new language systems which we may not be able to understand. And more intriguingly, they might be superior to our intelligence because of the new language system, because of the fact that they have more efficient, robust, and deeply founded language systems that would be able to handle miscellaneous aspects of the phenomenology of this world. So if that happens, that could be quantitatively and qualitatively different, like the difference between natural language and mathematical language. You can't describe the details of the processings of the universe without mathematical language. The same can be said probably about the difference between artificial language to come out of artificial general intelligence and our own natural language system. So the difference might be as huge as the difference between natural language and mathematical language. So when that happens, I'm wondering if that couldn't be termed as Wittgenstein's private language. The idea was that there wouldn't be no private language understood by only an agent. Well, there could be many subtleties here, but the fact that the private language argument by Wittgenstein has such a strong hold on our imagination and on the discourse on the nature of language, it's a testament to the fact that it is somehow, bang on the core of what language or intelligence is all about. And so in that sense, I think it'll be interesting to consider whether, the generation of artificial general intelligence or even artificial superintelligence would necessitate the development of artificial language, which is beyond our understanding, and because there would be only one agent. Well, of course there could be a society of agents, but we can imagine a special case where there would be only a singlet state of artificial intelligence, then you wonder whether that would qualify as Wittgenstein's private language finally emerging through the midst of human history. So Geoffrey Hinton famously likened artificial intelligence systems to humanity's butterfly. Out of the forest of the data that we have accumulated over time, large language models like ChatGPT would emerge and fly around in the sky like a butterfly. Artificial intelligence systems, AGI or ASI, might actually make us come closer to a state where there would be butterflies flying around with private language under their wings. Of course, this is obviously an insufficient argument, and it is debatable whether whether there will be a truly private language. Even if there is only one artificial intelligence systems physically, there might be some possibilities that, in principle, we can conceive of another agent sharing the same artificial language system. So, there are some subtleties to be discussed still, but that is because I'm coming to the Opera City concert hall where we're going to have the press concert, and I need to go straight into the concert hall. So I hope to see you again, and I hope to record occasionally this street play radio format, because in the middle of the summer heat, I do hope that we are approaching somehow the cool weather of autumn. So thank you for listening. Oh, by the way, yes, in tribute to the Lex Friedman podcast, I need to stop where I finish with some summary of the recording. So here it is. It is a logical necessity for artificial intelligence systems to be general. In that road to AGI, language systems might emerge, and it is quite possible that an AGI or ASI would come to have what Wittgenstein termed the private language, and would be really interesting. So thank you for listening.